Welcome to our class this morning, therapeutic or chair yoga. If you're choosing a chair, that is. You can always sit on the floor for the seated part. And our theme this week is really about what's going on in the world right now, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, it is spring. And I feel like we've all been really hanging on and waiting for spring and the sort of hope and the promise that spring brings. And so today I really invite you to think about what may want to be birthed this spring for you. So maybe it's planting actual seeds in the ground and watching them grow, or maybe it's a project that you want to get to that you've been kind of putting off over the winter, or maybe it's just really getting back in touch with some personal joy, because winter can kind of sap that if we're not careful. So today we'll do a mixture of sort of going inwards and really being with ourselves and being in that sort of dark, fertile place, and then kind of opening and expanding into the light and into those gorgeous longer days that we've been experiencing, and the greater sunlight and warmth and all of that. So really celebrating that, and at the same time really contemplating what is it that wants to be birthed in this time. So getting comfortable in your seat, and we'll start from there. So let's come to a comfortable seated position. Again, it could be on the floor or on a chair. And finding your sit bones, those two bones at the base of your pelvis, and you can kind of rock side to side to really feel a connection with those 2 points against your chair or cushion or the ground. And then see if you can find a place that feels even and balanced between those 2 points. As much as possible, your spine is lifting and lengthening without being rigid or forced. There's a sense of elongation and lifting from the stable support of your pelvis. And then notice if you're leaning forward or if you're leaning back, if you're kind of slumping or over to one side or the other, and see if you can find the most easeful seated posture. Maybe that means moving the position of your legs or making other adjustments, maybe adding, if you're sitting on the floor, maybe adding a cushion or pillow if you feel like it's effort. If you feel effort in this area, in the hip flexors, in the front of the hips, or you feel strain in your lower back, especially if you're sitting on the floor, it really helps to get your hips a little bit higher up, and that can relieve some of that tension. And if you're sitting on a chair, it might mean moving closer to the edge of the chair or moving back a little bit, or you may want to put something under your feet. So if you feel like your feet aren't quite comfortably reaching the ground, placing a cushion or a blanket or some blocks under your feet can be helpful. So finding that balanced place, making those little adjustments as you need to, and then really feeling this sense of sinking into those 2 points at the base of your pelvis. Imagine that those 2 points could grow roots that go deep down through the ground, through your floor, into the earth. And plants, when they grow, they send their roots down first. So they need to get anchored and to feel solid before anything rises up out of the ground. So let's take a moment to really feel ourselves grow solid, go inwards, go down into the earth, into that dark, fertile place with our roots. You can imagine roots going down and spreading out, creating a network of support beneath you. And then as we start to imagine that energy coming up from the earth, coming up into our bodies, let's add a little bit of gentle movement. So very gentle cat-cow, inhaling, arching, exhaling, rounding. And start with a nice small movement. As you would imagine, sort of a little baby plant getting ready to burst forth from the earth. The spine moving, the roots continuing to deepen and to support as you start to move the spine. And then start to move in other ways. So maybe rounding your spine and circling. And if you're someone who likes to visualize and it helps you, you can imagine this movement underground, the spine like the stalk of the plant starting to wake up. Feeling as you move your body, starting to wake up some of those stiff areas in your spine. Just moving in whatever way feels good right now. And then eventually imagining the crown of your head starting to break the surface of the soil, as if you're reaching for the light, and you can bring your palms together. Imagine your hands lifting as if they're breaking through that crust of soil, reaching for the light and spreading out to receive. Roots go down as we lift and grow up through the earth. And let's do this a few times, reaching up, imagining the sun opening as the arms open to receive that light, that nourishment from the sun as your roots continue to go down, receiving nourishment from the earth. And we need both of these types of nourishment, the light and the dark. The support of the nourishment of the light, but also that going inward into the dark, really key to our development, both physically and emotionally, spiritually, say both, all of the above. Bringing your hands back to your heart. Pausing here for a moment. We'll do a little bit of movement for the wrists, so palms down, backs of the hands together, rolling the fingers towards you and out. And then we'll go the other way. So coming back in towards you, fingertips go down, around, and hands come back together. So hands down, rolling in and out, making an offering to the earth, and then receiving the blessing of spring back into your heart. Shedding and releasing the winter, the challenges that we've been facing for the last year really, and bringing in new hope, abundance, joy, releasing whatever it is no longer serves us. And one more time like that, drawing in to the heart and releasing. Now let's come back to the heart, bringing the palms together, put a little pressure into your hands. Feel the muscles across your arms, shoulders, and chest wake up a little bit. A couple of nice full breaths without straining or forcing the breath, just feeling a sense of breathing in all of that spring energy, the newness, the life, the excitement, watching things grow, come to life. And then let's again lift the hands as if we're reaching through the earth up to the sky, opening to receive the sun, this time bringing the hands behind. You can hold your chair if you're on a chair, bring your hands together if they reach comfortably. Lift the heart, take a couple of breaths here. Try to let your shoulders relax. Notice if you squeeze your jaw tight, even let your jaw relax a little bit. And take a few breaths here, feeling the expansion in the heart. As if your heart is lifting to the bright sun of spring. You're feeling that synergistic connection to the sun with your heart. And then arms out to the sides. And rotating the palms toward the ceiling. And then rotating back, palms face behind you. Rotating open. All the way from the shoulders, so not just the wrists. And then you can add a little lift of the heart as the palms turn up, Rounding the back a little, head down as the palms turn back. You can inhale as you lift if you want to coordinate your breath. Exhale as you round. If your arms or shoulders feel at all strained, lower them down a bit. So you're more in this range. All right, with your next inhale, as the arms open, lift all the way up. Bringing the hands together as if you could bring that spring sun and bring it into your heart. And pause there. Just feeling your connection with the elements, with the natural world. You know, we are absolutely 100% linked. We are the natural world, but we sometimes forget that. Living in our little boxes with their artificial heat and air conditioning, and we forget that we're part of this living, breathing planet. So take a few breaths and feel that connection. We are the earth, the water, the sunlight. We're the wind that blows through us. And then let's release the hands to the thighs and come back to that gentle cat-cow movement. Inhaling, arching, exhaling, rounding. Spring is this push and pull, this kind of tug towards summer, that lifting and opening, and then a little bit back into winteriness. So riding those waves within us and around us. And then let's lift the arms this time as you're lifting the heart, coming up, and we'll add a forward bend. So you can bring the hands to the thighs, let your body come forward with a long spine, and then coming back up. Breathing in if you're coordinating breath as you lift, exhaling as you go forward. Let your head release down. And we'll make the next one our last one. So coming up one more time. And then when you come forward this time, you have the option, if it feels good, to stay. So it can be either hands or maybe your elbows on your thighs, or you could bring your chest down to your thighs, let your arms dangle down. So whatever is comfortable for you. And if you feel stiff in your neck this morning, you can gently move the head a little side to side as you stay in this forward bend. And when you're ready to come up, lifting slowly, and take the arms all the way up again. Bring the hands together as if you're taking that sun and bringing it into your heart. And pause here. Feel your roots go down into the earth, the crown lifting. And the energy of earth and sky meeting at the heart. Let's lift the arms up, breathing in. We're going to turn to one side, bringing both hands down. One hand to the outer thigh, one hand to the floor of the chair, and then you'll lift to center. Twist the other way, keeping your spine long as you twist. Coming up and twisting. As always, coordinating breath is optional, but if you're coordinating, inhale, center, exhale as you twist. Right, next time you come to one side, stay for a few breaths. So if you're pressing into the floor with your back hand, use that to lengthen your spine or against the chair. The hand on the leg just there for a little support. You're not trying to force yourself deeper. You could turn to look over your back shoulder if you like. And finding the first edge, so not a deep, deep edge or twist, but just the first point of restriction Allowing your body to soften and breathe here. When we force our bodies, they tend to resist, create tension. Coming up to the center. And then over to the other side, same thing. So gentle, holding just at your first edge of resistance. Maybe looking back behind you, breathing here. Keep the spine lengthening with each breath. Right, and then lifting to the center. Exhaling, hands down, and we'll do a few more rounds of a gentle cat-cow movement to bring the spine back to alignment after the twist. And really tuning into that sense of spring, that sort of moving into the light and then going back into that little bit of wintry, moving inwards, moving outwards, finding that balance. And then coming back up to a neutral spine. Work a little bit with the neck and shoulders here. So you can take your hands and make gentle fists. Bring your shoulders up towards your ears. And roll them back and release your fists as you release the shoulders down. So squeezing up with the hands and shoulders, rolling back and releasing down. If you want to coordinate breath, inhale up. Exhale back and down. Always, always, always listen to your body. If coordinating your breath creates any strain at all or doesn't feel comfortable in any way, just do the movement, breathe naturally, breathe normally. All right, and then taking the arms out to the sides, big breath in, reach the arms back a little, and then exhale, cross across your chest, hands to opposite shoulders. Let your shoulders and elbows rest down. And bring your head down slightly, even round your upper back a little bit so you feel a bit of stretch between the shoulder blades. If you do, you may not. This is a tight area for me and for many, but maybe not so much for you. Breathing into that space between the shoulder blades, and if you like, you can do a little side to side movement, taking the elbows a few inches one way and the other, and that just helps to kind of get a little more into that space between the shoulder blades. So see what feels good for you. You can even circle around a little bit. And then you'll come to the center, lift the spine, notice which arm is on top, take the arms wide, big breath in, and then exhale, crossing the arms the other way. Again, shoulders and elbows relaxing towards your chest. You can slightly round the upper back, tuck your chin in, and again, if it feels good to you, as you breathe into that space between your shoulder blades, you can rock the upper body a little bit side to side, inviting some spaciousness. A sense of going inward, very dark, wintry place. And then coming to the center and slowly expanding, opening up. Big breath in and then exhale to release. Right, and then turning your head to one side, make a little half circle across your chest, come up to the other side. And then half circle back. Side to side a few times, go at your own pace. If you like, you can make a full circle, being always careful not to let your head drop back. So you're keeping control of your head as it comes across your shoulders. If you like, and you're going in circles, you can go the other way a few times as well. And let's come back to the center. Let's come to stand now. Great. And we'll bring the feet a little bit apart. After sitting for a while, bring some movement into the hips. You can let your hands rest on your hips, soften your knees, and do a few circles with your hips. Tuning into that subtlety of sensation, honoring your body. If you feel pain or tenderness, you might alter movement a little bit to accommodate that. If you haven't switched directions, try the other way a few times. Right, and then let's bring the arms down to the sides, come back to the center. You can keep the feet a little bit apart here. And now I really invite you to choose one leg and imagine roots going down into the earth from that heel, that whole leg reaching down, and then that same arm reaching up. So have this sense of that one side growing a bit longer, reaching down with the heel, up with the hand, and then from that place, a little bit over to the side. And as you come back to the center, we'll release the arm just so we're not creating tension in the shoulder, but keep pressing down with that leg, lifting and reaching over as you continue to press down with the leg on that side. Coming back, don't worry about how you're breathing, just do make sure you're breathing. Press down with that leg, reaching up and then a little over to the side. Coming back. And we'll do that one more time. This time you have the choice if you like to stay for a couple of breaths. Don't try to go to the side. This isn't about going to the side, but really about lengthening the opposite side. So really press down into your foot, reach up with your arm, and then it's a little bit over to the side. Good. And then coming back to the center. Let's bring the feet together for a moment. Pause here. Imagine your body cut in two right down the middle and notice how one side feels, the side that you've just worked. Notice how that compares with the other side. Be curious, be open, let go of any judgment. And then let's take the feet apart again, just about shoulder distance. And again, start by feeling the roots go down. So we always want to start with that downward anchoring movement, just like the plants do. So rooting down and then lifting the arm and feeling that extension. Now, if your shoulder doesn't want to have your arm straight up, bent is fine. But feeling the length into the side of the body, reaching down into the earth, up with the fingertips. And then you can take it over just a little to lengthen this side. Good. And then back to the center and release. So we'll do that a few times. Press down into the foot as you reach up. Keep pressing down as you come a little bit over to the side and back. We'll do that a few more times. Again, if you like, you can stay for a couple of breaths. It's not about trying to go as far as you can, right? But really lengthening. So the side that you're going towards is also lengthening. Pressing down into the heel, up with the arm, and then we'll come back to center and release. So again, bring your feet in underneath you. Pause for a moment, notice the two sides of your body. They may still feel a little bit different from one another, but perhaps slightly more even than when we just did one side. Okay, so we'll swing the arms now, and as we do, letting the knees bounce. And then letting the arms swing up, big breath in, and we'll come a little more forward. The hands can come to the thighs or swing up behind you, and then come up, And swing back or hands to knees. Breathe in as you lift if you like. Exhale, forward. All right, we'll make this the last one, going forward, lifting back up. Good. And releasing the arms down. All right. So we're going to do a slightly different breath technique now. And we're going to breathe in 3 stages. So it's like the first step is breathe in 1/3. And then the next step, 1/3. The next step, 1/3. So you're breathing in fully over 3 steps. And it's just a little tiny pause in between. So it's, the exhale is all in one. So try just that much. So inhale a little bit more, a little bit more. Exhale fully. Inhale a bit more, a bit more. Exhale fully. And again. Right. So now we're going to try it with arm movements. So the first third is here, the second third is here, the third third is here, and then exhale all the way down. So we'll try it together. Inhale a bit more, and exhale. Again. Exhale. Again. Good. And pause here. So we're going to add one more element. This is optional. You can do this just the way we did, or if you want to add a bit more on the exhale, we'll add a forward bend. So you can watch the first time if you like. So it'll be here, 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 and then all the way down with your exhale, and then coming up, 1, 2, 3, and exhale. So center, sides, overhead, exhale. Again, center, sides, up, exhale. We'll do that one more time. Exhale. And if you're comfortable, stay a few breaths in this forward bend. That sense of going inward, tuning in, feeling your breath. And then we'll come all the way up, slowly reaching the arms overhead and releasing the arms back down to the sides. Wonderful. So for the next one, if you have a chair, you can use a chair. You can also do this with your hands against your thighs. So we're going to do a standing cat-cow movement. And the biggest difference with the standing version is we're not just moving the spine, but we're also getting some stretch in the hamstrings when we're standing. So if you're going to bring your hands to your knees, just slightly bend the knees and bring your hands to your thighs, or you can let your hands come to a chair that's a few inches, maybe 6 to 12 inches in front of you, so that your hands are under your shoulders, your feet are under your hips, your knees are bent either way. So from here, tilt the tailbone up, and as you do, you might find that these big muscles get a little stretch. If you don't feel much stretch, straighten your legs just a little bit. So breathing in here, a little lift to the chin and chest, and then exhale as you round. Tuck your chin in, press into your arms, press into your feet, spine toward the ceiling. So as you tilt the pelvis, it'll draw the hamstrings a little longer, those big muscles in the back of your legs, and then rounding will release that stretch. Right, so finding your own rhythm here. If you want, you can inhale as you lift, exhale as you round. Couple more breaths. Okay. And then with your next inhale, you'll lift all the way up. And exhale to release. So again, the next one can be done with a chair or bringing your hands to your front knee as we move into a version of warrior. So one foot is forward, right up close to your chair if you're using a chair. The other foot is back a little bit. And how far back it is really is dependent on how comfortable it feels for you. So a shorter stance is going to feel more stable, a little bit easier. A wider stance will be a little bit more stretched, maybe feel a little less stable. So you can play around with the distance. But either way, your back foot, and I think I need to reclaim my mat here. Okay, that way you can see my feet as well. Oops, where you go. Got a nice downward dog demonstration there. So this back foot is turned out a little bit. Front foot is pointing straight. We're going to bend the front knee, which already gives us a little bit of a lift in the chest, a lift in the pelvis. So there's a bit of a back bend there. And then elbows to the side. So you're in this cactus kind of position. And we're going to draw the elbows down and back and find that lift in the heart, reaching the sun in the heart toward the sun in the sky. Good. And then going inward, going down, hands to the knee or your chair, head down. So we'll bend the knee, lifting, elbows bend, heart lifts toward the sun. And then we go back in and down. Front leg can straighten a little bit as you go forward, bend as you lift up. So as you bend the knee, it's going to give you a little more back bend on the lift. As you straighten the leg, a little more stretch in the hamstrings as you go forward. So mirroring spring's tendency to open herself to us, disappear for a while, and then come back again. All right, so let's stay in this open position for a few breaths. As you're staying, try to keep a little bit of control in your core. So you're drawing the belly in and back a little. That's going to help protect your lower back. Press down into your back foot. Lift the heart, draw the elbows back and down. Make sure you're breathing here. And then when you're ready, you can bring the hands to your knee or to the chair. Move your front leg a little straighter. Find just the right spot where it feels like a good stretch, not too much, not too little. If you feel really tight in these big muscles in the back of your leg, bend and straighten the leg as you stay here. For those of you who want more stretch and this feels appropriate for you, you can come down a little lower. If you're on a chair, elbows could come to the chair, or maybe hands to the floor or blocks if you're using them. When you're ready to come up, lifting with a breath in and releasing. Let's bring the feet together for a moment. Again, you might feel a little lopsided one side to the other. You can simply notice that with curiosity and non-judgment, as always. I'm aware that my one side feels really grounded and the other side feels a little more open, and it sort of mirrors that idea of going in and down and stretching and releasing and opening toward the sun. So we're going to even things up, of course. So other foot forward. The back foot again is turned out a little to the side, and really it's as much as you need to feel comfortable in your knee, hip, and ankle and feel grounded. You want your front foot to be a little offset from your back foot, so they're not right in front of each other, and that's going to give you a little more balance. So as you bend your front knee, we'll take the arms out, elbows down, heart lifts, breathing in if you're coordinating breath. And then exhale, hands to the chair or leg, moving your front leg straighter as you let your body come forward. So coming up, finding that lift, that hopefulness, and going inward, more fertile, going into the soil, lifting back up. Right, that rhythm of spring, that cyclical kind of moving towards and away from with each day, with each movement. Right, let's stay in the up position for a few breaths. So again, the heart is lifting. You can imagine your heart shining out to reach up towards the sun, and it's like when two candles meet, right? There's this glow. But at the same time, keeping a little bit of engagement in your core, which is going to help to lengthen your lower back and keep it from jamming up here. And then when you're ready, hands to your knee or to the chair. You can move your front leg straighter to a point where it feels like a good stretch for you, or move in and out of that stretch. So for some people, hamstrings are so tight and it just feels like metal ropes. And so you want to really ease into the stretch, a little bit into the stretch, and then release, a little bit in and release. Okay, you can stay here a few more breaths if you want a bit more stretch, finding the right option for you, coming forward as necessary. Let your head release. And then bending the front knee to come up, you'll lift up with the breath in. And then exhale to release. Bring your feet back together. And come to mountain pose, feet side by side, about hip distance apart. And feel now, we just did a little bit of, stretch with the calves of the back leg. And sometimes that can facilitate a feeling of more groundedness. So feel your heels, your calves, your hamstrings, right from your sit bones. So where we were feeling the weight on the chair or the ground earlier, feel those points connected to the hamstrings, the muscles in the back of your legs, connected to the calves, connected to your heels, and your heels digging those roots into the earth now. Feel the upper body lifting, becoming light. Crown of your head opening like a blossoming flower towards the sun. And feel how you are nature. You are not separate from nature. Our bodies, our moods swing with the seasons. And everything that is happening in nature can happen within us as well. Right? We are inextricably linked. So as you feel your roots go down, 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 you inhale and lift the arms up, 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 reaching up. And then as you exhale, soften your knees, come forward into a forward bend. Hands can come to the knees or the shins or the ground. We'll come up halfway, hands to the knees. You can also do this to the chair if you like. And then exhale, fold forward again. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale back to where you started, arms down. Feel your roots go down, crown lift up. And again, we'll inhale and lift. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, halfway up, hands to the knees or chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale and release. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale, halfway or to a flat back position. Soften your knees, exhale forward. Inhale, lift. And exhale to release. So once more, coming back to mountain pose. Once again, feeling your roots going down, 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 right from your sit bones, down your legs, into your heels, into the earth. It's like your body is sucking up the nourishment from the earth, and then the trunk, if you're a tree, your body would be the trunk, the crown of your head like the crown of the tree. It's not an accident that these words kind of correlate to the body. And feeling that openness in the crown of the head, that blossoming flower, drinking in the sun, the nourishment, the longer days, the brighter sun. And feel your body a conduit between these two. And let's take the feet apart one more time. Soften your knees, and we'll roll the shoulders now, and the whole body twisting as one shoulder rolls and the other. Just bringing some movement to the whole body. Let your hips swing. If it's comfortable to let your head gently move, let it move. You don't want to fling your head around and create any issues for your neck, but can allow the head to gently move around with your body. Right, and then come back to the center and just give a little shake. Shake your body, shake off the winter tension. Just let it go. Good. And then we're going to come to lie down. So take your time, make your way down to the earth. And when you get to the earth, again, we often come to this position with the knees bent, feet on the floor, knees pointing at the ceiling. Hands can rest on your body or on the ground. Take a moment to simply tune in again to your breath here. Feel the earth beneath you. Notice where your body makes contact with the ground. Soften into those points of contact as you exhale. And then think about adding a little more pressure. So as you exhale, press your feet into the ground. And that will have the effect of tilting the pubic bone up and bringing the lower back down. And then as you breathe in, just relax. Just let that go. So you're exhaling, pressing into your feet, bringing the lower back a little more closely to the ground, and then inhaling to relax. And then we can slightly exaggerate the movement by bringing the arms into play here. So if we start with the arms now alongside the body, as you breathe in, extend the arms overhead. You can bend the elbows if you like, or move them more to the sides. They don't have to come to the ground, but they might, but don't strain your shoulders. And then you'll bring them back down. As you bring them down, press into your feet. Lower back toward the ground. So inhale, relax the pressure on your feet. Let the arms lift. Exhale, lower the arms, press into the feet. Now you can do all this without coordinating your breath. So you just raise and lower the arms. Press into the feet as the arms come down. Or adding the breath if that feels right for you. Okay, we're going to this time bring one knee in toward the chest as the arms come down. So that will have the effect of also bringing a little more length and pressure to the lower back. You're going to hold that knee, gently squeeze in. If it feels good for you, you can extend the other leg on the ground as you hold the other knee in. Keep the leg on the ground active, so your heel is pressing down, toes pointing up if you've straightened the leg. And then only if it feels good to you, if it's no strain for your neck at all and you can use your abdominal muscles, you can lift your head up towards your knee. And then slowly release the head back down, lengthening the upper back as you go. And then we'll bring that foot to the floor, bend the other leg, reach up with a breath in, and then exhaling, bringing the knee in. And you can give a squeeze here. If it's more comfortable to hold behind the thigh, go right ahead. And again, you have the option to straighten the opposite leg, toes up, heel down, leg active. And again, really tune in with your neck. Use your core if you choose to lift the head. And if it's any strain on the neck, skip this altogether. So you can exhale as you lift the head, nose toward the knee. And then slowly release. Bringing that foot to the floor, bending both knees, arms to the sides, feet lined up so your heels are more or less under your knees and feet are hip distance apart. And again, we'll exhale, press down into the feet, and then inhale, and lift your hips a little off the ground, maybe lifting a little higher if that's comfortable. And then slowly releasing down. So don't worry here about how you're breathing. You'll lift slowly. It might take you a few breaths to lift. And you'll release slowly. Little movement here. Massaging the area around the spine. If you like, you can stay for a few breaths. Find the position where you can stay with the least amount of effort. So let your legs do the work. Your thighs and your buttocks are engaged. Your legs are working. See if you can imagine your upper body just kind of hanging from the support of your legs. The hips can be off the ground just an inch. They don't even have to be off the ground, just barely a little lighter pressure, letting the legs do the work or lifting a little higher. Relax your jaw, your face, your neck, your shoulders, your arms. And then slowly release. Pause here for a few breaths, maybe taking the knees a little bit side to side. So you're rocking just over the center of your sacrum and the back of your hips. Just a little bit of rocking to release the sacrum. If it feels good to you, you can add more of a twist. You can let the knees go down to the side, maybe turning your head the opposite way if that feels good. Coming back to center and then going to the other side. Take your time. Again, there's no need to coordinate with the breath here. And when you don't coordinate with the breath, it allows you to really go at a pace that feels good and comfortable to you. But if you do like coordinating with the breath and that helps to stay a little more present and focused, you can inhale to the center and exhale as you go to each side. Eventually finding your way back to the center. And then from here, knees come in toward your chest. You can place one hand on each knee and rock the knees slowly forward and back, so towards you and away from you by straightening and bending your elbows. Again, you can do this at whatever pace feels good for you, or you can coordinate with your breath. So exhaling as you draw in, inhaling as you move away. Stay with this movement, or if you like, you can do a little bit more movement here by stretching your arms and legs on your inhale if you're coordinating breath. So arms either out to the sides or overhead, legs toward the ceiling, and then back in toward the body. So if you're coordinating your breathing, inhale as you open, and then exhale as you bring the knees in. Or just do the movement and breathe. And then holding the knees in, you can rock a little side to side. Maybe imagine yourself as a little seed under the ground. All of that creative potential deep within. And as the fertility of the soil and the warmth of the sun and the moisture meet, you feel all of that potential creativity and energy within your body. And then from this place of contraction, of inwardness, of really being contained, allow yourself to stretch out in any way that would feel good. So it might be stretching on the ground, it might be stretching toward the ceiling, it might be out to the sides, just allowing your body to stretch and move in any way that would feel good. So after the restriction of being all curled up in a ball, symbolically through the winter, really for most of us through the year, the last year of pandemic. Right? And feel yourself start to expand and release from that place. So if you want, you can come back into the center, expand from there. Any movement that would feel good, that would help your body to feel the freedom that spring can bring. Take a moment, move in whatever way would feel good. Shake if you like. Okay, and then whenever you feel sort of ready to come to a quieter place, you can start to prepare for Shavasana. If there's other movements that your body would appreciate, you can do whatever would feel good. But then start to eventually wind down to come to stillness, either seated or lying down, whatever you prefer. Getting ready for our relaxation or Shavasana for the class conclusion, integration. Take your time. Come back to your breath. With each exhalation now, feel your roots go down into the earth. So if you're seated, you can imagine those sit bones again going down into the earth. If you're lying down, you might just imagine all of the points of contact where your body meets the ground. All of those points kind of melt and soften as you exhale. So the exhale is this going inward, right? The winter of the breath. And the inhale is the expanding outward, the summer of the breath. And so exhale, going inward, feeling that sense of softening, dropping. And then feel how your inhale creates an expansion, an opening, an invitation. Exhale, contracting, drawing in, moving inward and downward. So see if you can tune into that rhythm and balance of your own breath, the expansion, contraction, as if our breath were representing the seasons, the summer, the winter, and the pauses between the breath, the spring and the fall. So every breath we take encompasses that whole range of energy. And as you breathe, feel your body start to let go of tension. Winter is the contractive phase of the year where we tend to draw inward. We even involuntarily often contract the muscles against the cold. Feeling that drawing in and down, followed by and complemented by this expansion and openness of the inhale, the summer of the breath. Let your jaw release, let the muscles of your face relax, and the weight of your head rest either over your shoulders if you're sitting, or deeply into the earth if you're lying down. And all the muscles of your neck release, the shoulders and arms let go. Feel your hands soften. Feel the chest expand with your breath and soften as you exhale. The belly also softening with each breath. Relax all the muscles around your hips, the front, the sides, the back of your hips. And soften to relax your thighs, inner, outer, back and front of your thighs. Relax your knees, your calves, your ankles and feet. As you soften and relax, going inward, and all of that potential energy stored in your body, stored in your system. Seed of your vital energy, waking up to the spring, to the light, to the sun. With each inhalation, feeling that potential expansion and growth. Each exhalation, honoring that place of inwardness, of reflection. And as you stay with your breath, softening with each exhalation, expanding gently with each inhalation. Share a chant with you today that talks about the nourishment of the plants that we grow. It actually says the plants are nourished under the full moon. They expand and bring their potency more fully. But this idea of plants responding to the changing seasons and changing tides, just as we as human beings do. Oshadhaya Sambadante Sumena Saharagnya Oshadhaya Sambadante Sumena Saharagnya Oshadhaya Sambadante Sumena Saharagnya So as we near the end of our Shavasana, I invite you to take a moment to really see if you can find the energetic balance between the winter and the summer. So the winter, the going inward, the kind of hibernating, summer, that really outward energy. And the spring energy is this clear and balanced energy between the two. So too much outward can be exhausting. Too much inward can be depressing. So see if you can find that balance of energy in your own body, in your own mind, in your own system. Not too much, not too little. In yoga, we might call this in Sanskrit sattva. It's that steady, shining light. When we find this balance, maybe we can stay here for moments, days, a whole season. Or maybe we just touch it and that's all. But finding that balance as you're able, and then from that place of balance, see what it would feel like to move from the balanced place. Invite your body to move, not too much, not too little. Let your breath be balanced, not too much inhale, not too much exhale, just a nice sattva balance. It's right in between that shining light. And gradually moving and stretching with this balanced idea, feeling, intention in your body. And eventually, if you're lying down and you're ready to come back upright, you can move on to your side first. And then gradually come back to a seated posture. Bringing your palms together wherever you are. And I invite you, as you go through the day, the week, the season of spring, to seek that balance, to seek that energetic balance within you, around you, within the relationships that you have in your life. right? Not too much outward, not too much inward. Can we find our own perfect balance to relate in the world in a way that leaves us feeling refreshed, renewed, nourished, and not depleted? Namaste.